Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier kicking off a 50-cent pick 4 at Gulfstream Park on Saturday with race number 6, the $75,000 Any Limit Stakes for 3-year-old fillies traveling 6 furlongs. You could bet that pick 4 any race on the Gulfstream Saturday card with a DRF Bets account. When you sign up at bets.drf.com, you double your action. You bet 100, you get 100 as a sign-up bonus. Let's meet the field for this kickoff leg of the 50-cent pick 4. Matt, the number 5, Brunette Princess, is not the morning line favorite, but I think you could make the argument that she is the horse to beat because that last race on Valentine's Day has come back especially strong, and her outside post position gives her a bit of an advantage with some speeds to her inside.
I'd agree with that. She seems to be the class of the field. You brought up the most recent run. The winner was a next out winner with an 83 buyer. The 4th place finisher was a next out winner with a 71. But you can even take it another step and go back to that forward gal. There are no feedbacks or bye-bye J's in a field like this on Saturday afternoon. The outside draw should be to her benefit, but it is worth noting her only win to date came in gate-to-wire fashion, and I think she'll be forwardly placed, but I think there is some other legitimate speed drawn to her inside, and I do wonder if Chris Landeros wants to use that draw to their advantage. We'll find out. 8-5, I don't think I would talk anybody off that.
She tried hard last time out, prompting that odds-on winner that came back to win by 10, as Matt mentioned, and she was just second best that day, perhaps a little bit of an easier field despite stepping up into an open stake. Let's talk a little bit about the number 3, question of the day, and we'll throw up the Timeform US pace projector because I was a bit surprised that we didn't see a red bar, Matt. The 2 Smoke and Deb, the 3 question of the day, if you're just looking at the cold dope, aren't they headed for a cold-blooded showdown at the OK Corral?
I mean, you would imagine that just because we kind of know the best running style, I think, for question of the day is to go. And as far as Smoke and Deb is concerned, she's forwardly placed basically in all 3 of her starts, and her only win to date came in gate-to-wire fashion. The interesting thing about question of the day, to me anyway, you take a look and see. I think she's rather dirtied up as far as the form is concerned. I think really the most indicative or representative run for her is the 1-3 back in that Smart Halo at Laurel going 6 furlongs. The problem is, depending on how you want to take it and approach it, that 58 buyer that's probably not fast enough to get it done here against these girls. And again, you brought it up from a running style standpoint. She's going to need to run every step of the way. She'll need to put away the other speed and then hold off the closers.
She was also 54-1 in that Smart Halo. She has to prove that she belongs, as you mentioned, from a buyer standpoint. That I agree that she's dirtied up. I'm willing to throw out the turf effort, the melody of colors. It appears she can't stand up on turf, and that was just a prep race, a bridge race to get her to this. And the start 2 starts back going 7. She just seemed uncontrollable in the early portion of the race, ran off, and there was no energy left for the stretch. But she could perhaps compromise the 2 Smoke and Deb. Now, Smoke and Deb, it's those Queen Mother races, those races at Gulfstream on February the 18th, they should be listed as restricted stakes races because that's what they are. They're starter stakes. They're not in the listed category. Smoke and Deb was not facing a strong field, but she did go very fast early, and she opened up a clear lead about 3/8 of a mile from home, and she just couldn't hold off the chalk Midtown Rose. I think 7 is a little bit far for her. I like her cutting back to 6, and if she can dissuade question of the day, she'll be the one to catch swinging into the stretch.
I really think that's what it boils down to. How much pressure does she take early on? Because if the 3 is just badgering her throughout, I think it could be Smoke and Deb's undoing. And also, even if we want to look at it and say Smoke and Deb is a better horse than the 3 horses, if that filly goes, it's not proven that Smoke and Deb can sit off of a horse and go and get the job done. And at 6-5 or somewhere in that vicinity, I don't know that I necessarily need to have her at that kind of price. And you brought it up, that most recent run. All but 2 of the fillies that have exited that race have regressed from a buyer standpoint. So it makes me wonder a little bit about that fig as well. We'll find out in time. Again, I respect her, but I think there are reasons to be a little bit concerned.
The number 1, Miss Marcella, no match for Smoke and Deb that day, then came back and was whipped by a bit of both. The filly that beat Brunette Princess, she's wheeling back in 9 days, and I wonder if she kind of got hustled into the race to make it go.
Yeah, it kind of feels that way, and just based on her page, even if that wasn't the case, she just seems like she's way up against it.
Let's take a look at our selections for the $75,000 Any Limit Stakes. I think you and I both agree with the Timeform US pace projector. The 2 and the 3 at some point will hook up. The 5 will be sitting off in a prime stalking position. But if this pace becomes a barbecue, the 4 Getting Warmer might be the one to make the last run, which could be the best run. This horse is first time Gelly Breen and has been working lights out at Palm Meadows.
You know, to be honest with you, I think she can be a little bit closer than maybe the pace projector would suggest. I think she's going to be in a position similar to Brunette Princess, depending on how they choose to ride Brunette Princess. I could see them taking up that stalking position just off the 2 and the 3, because to me, each of the past 2 races, you're supposed to, I don't want to say you're supposed to draw lines through them, but you're supposed to at least look at it a little bit deeper and say, she had issues in that Gin Talking 2 starts back. Mile and an eighth in the Busanda, I'm not going to hold that against her. And then that preceded a little bit of a layoff. Those 2 runs at Parks going 6 furlongs. I understand it was against inferior. I think either of those races puts her right there at the wire in this spot. So if you think a little bit of just sort of that natural progression and then also getting back to what she really wants to do, now going out for a good barn and Breens, you know, at 3 to 1, I would take that every day.
Also nice to know that another one of the also-rans in the Busanda, the last place finisher, came right back to win. A non-winners of one other than race with a 66 Beyer speed figure. Matt, getting warmer, very square price on the morning line. Give me numbers.
Yeah, 4-5-2 for me. Like you say, I wouldn't sneeze at that 3 to 1 morning line.
I'm going to go 2-5-3 in race number 6, the $75,000 Any Limit Stakes, one of 2 stakes races at Gulfstream on Saturday. Of course, it kicks off a 50-cent pick 4. Get down with a DRF Bets account. With DRF Bets, you get to double your action, and it's as easy as ready, set, bet. An approximate post time for the Any Limit, 3:10 Eastern. Good luck.